I thought Arnold was 75. Yeah. Jesus Christ, the former governor of California. All
Arnold
right.
was the former governor. What?
Yeah. You didn't know
What?
he was governor of California for a while.
Why? What?
Fucking no.
What?
That's also what he's credited as on Google, the former governor of California.
There's no way. Hi, welcome into a TCC Sidetrack discussion. First discussion. What are we talking about today? What's happening?
We are talking about old people in action movies, cause Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There
of
are
them.
too many of
There's
them.
a lot of them, and they're getting pretty old. We watched Fubar in preparation for this because it was like the newest thing, and
Yeah.
it's like when I first started this, it's like I had like some idea of concise points that I wanted to kind of make. Now I really want to just hate on Fubar for like 50 minutes. Like that show was like it made me like physically angry. Like I was so mad watching that show.
I'm gonna be entirely honest. I didn't hate the show, but the tricks that it used to get people to watch the show was just oh my god, it was either just very, very annoying and like using the stereotypical things, or it was just like, whoa, funny Arnold.
Yeah, okay.
Funny Arnold.
Yeah, real quick, I need to mention a few things. Hold on. Some notes that I took. In the first episode, practiced 60-year-old spy gives supervillain belongings to little girl. Because he's smart.
It's also like it's like the equivalent of in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where Goku puts the fucking Dragon Ball on the hat of
Gohan.
Gohan. Yeah.
I believe it for Goku because he's supposed to be stupid. Arnold's supposed to be the top of the line, the best spy that's ever spied in the history of, and he gives the supervillain's belongings to little girl. Also, just some other quick things that I didn't like about the show. This is the single most unprofessional CIA team. They're getting into arguments just constantly about stupid stuff. Also, a lot of their arguments are just really dumb.
To be honest, like, despite the fact that like it's incredibly unprofessional and unrealistic, I did like the group dynamic though.
Okay, some of it,
I have to give it that.
Okay, sometimes
I thought a lot of that was very funny.
Okay. I agree. Sometimes it was fun, like the honeypot stuff. That was funny. And some of the other stuff. But like when she's like holding a bazooka and she's going on a mission and she's high, like what are you doing?
But okay, we do have to get into something somewhat prudent to the subject of this video.
Anyways, bad show. To talk more about like the actiony bits with Arnold.
Okay, this frustrates me so much. At a certain point, if I remember correctly, he jumped out of one car into another one while fighting people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This man is 75 years old.
Yeah.
And granted, for 75 himself, he's in pretty good shape,
He is. He's in fantastic shape.
It's already, in movies, somewhat of a suspension of disbelief when someone jumps from one, like, speeding car to another one.
Yeah.
Alright? And then, fights everyone and takes control of the car, is doing great. Oh, if the directors have ever seen a person who is 75 years old.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, and when you see his action scenes, they're like always, I can't even picture, but they're always like shot really weird. His fights are always like super stiff. There wasn't like a single like really good action. Even like the gun fight scenes were kind of meh. It's like they didn't put any effort into like the action, even for like the girl, because like her action scenes were kind of nothing. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, all of the gun action scenes was someone shooting out of nowhere, and then one of them walking forward with a gun and shooting people.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. The last action scene particularly pissed me off. He's like, I'm holding you at gun. By the way, this show would be a more interesting show, like, by 10 times if Diego Luna, like, Boro was the main character of it. First of all, but also,
yeah,
if, like, she, like, stabs him with his, like, Ranky Jank, Cracky Barrel Medal of Honor, and then they're like,
he had a gun to her head, got stabbed in the. Let me ask, just to be sure. All right, if you were like hell bent on killing everything a certain person cares about, and you had their wife, ex-wife, or whatever the heck he was to her or she was to him, at gunpoint, and you feel a small metal object enter your leg, is your first instinct to then push that person away from you and go, ah?
Yeah, I typically, when I'm holding my victims at gunpoint and I get stabbed in the leg, I usually go, ah! And then I open myself up to be blasted by
Yeah.
I typically do that, you know, so I can't fault them there. But they use a lot of these action stars for, like, their whole star power. Like, you could have, like, easily with, like, people like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was originally conceptualized as, like, George Lucas's James Bond. You could have easily done the James Bond thing where you just recasted Indiana Jones as a different dude.
Oh my god. I think that's a great segue to the horror that is the new Indiana.
I haven't seen it, so just like...
Okay, well, get ready for some major spoilers.
I'm fine.
Because don't worry, it's not a great movie. You're not missing out on anything.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, movie starts out. All right. Indiana Jones, the man, the myth, the legend, he wakes up passed out on a lazy boy. He is shirtless, and look, Henry Ford is an 80-year-old man.
Harrison Ford, you mean?
80. What did I say?
Henry?
Wow, wrong person. I don't know. Henry Ford has been dead for a very long time. Harrison Ford, on the other hand, is an 8-year-old man.
Yeah.
I have never seen someone look more like an 80-year-old. Alright? Now, the way that the movie starts, okay, and I feel like if the directors would have seen this first scene themselves, like, before starting the movie, they would have not made the movie.
Yeah.
Because he wakes up to very loud music in the background, like from his neighbors.
Yeah.
So then he, in his underwear, all right, puts on a shirt, walks outside in the hallway with a baseball bat, and starts banging on his neighbor's door to turn down the music.
Dear God.
I'm sorry. This, by the way, is supposed to be the main action movie main character. The guy that's supposed to be the guy that does the...
It's like they did the whole, get off my lawn, you darn kids.
They did though. And it's just like...
It's the main action dude who's supposed to be riding horses and jumping from cars and like beating up bad guys and like taking dives and stuff.
What is it recently? Well, I don't know it's all that recently, but what is it with action stars that are actually kind of too old for the role they play and riding horses through cities?
Is that been a thing in more than Indiana Jones?
John Wick.
Did he do that? Okay, I don't.
He rode a police horse through it.
Oh dear God.
Okay.
And there are like special cases like okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say like it's always bad. Like with John Wick and like Tom Cruise, those are not with Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise, those are the actual actors' names. They like it's clear that first of all they're not as old, and especially Tom Cruise can do a lot of the stuff. Like when I watch Mission Impossible, I don't think, oh yeah, he can't do this because he's actually doing the stunts. And with John Wick, it's kind of shot well, and it's more like gunfights, and it's like it's good action movie stuff. But a lot of the times you can just tell that they're like when like anytime they cast Liam Neeson in anything, you can tell like, oh, we're just like using Liam Neeson's star power to like kind of.
Well, so during this movie, it starts out, you get that kind of introduction, and then you later on start to learn that he got divorced from his wife, which and then also his son died in a war. Which already is like, okay, we're setting up like the main characters down in the shitter again, because that's for some reason how everyone wants to start every movie where there's a main character that had a happy ever after. One thing that really showed his Indy's age during this movie, like as a character, do you ever have it in like fighting movies where, for example, the main character got shot or something like that,
Yeah.
and he has to now fight something, and like the stakes are higher because he's like, you know, he can't fight at what he usually fights at.
Yeah.
That was all of the fight scenes that Indiana Jones was in this movie.
Yeah.
All of the fight scenes were like, oh wow, he could do this,
Yeah.
but he's old now.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's like a thing in like the Daniel Craig James Bond. Like that's like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Skyfall. It's like my favorite James Bond. It's probably one of my favorite movies. But at a certain, like the whole plot of the movie is like, he's old, he can't do everything as good as he used to, and at a certain point he's just like, yeah, I'm not old anymore, I guess. I could just do all the things, and.
But you know what the worst part is? Henry Ford. I said Henry Ford again. It's Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm thinking too much of the Model T cars right now. But Harrison Ford is so old that they can't even believably do that.
Yeah. Like when I was watching it in the trailers, I was like, this looks. I don't know. I couldn't be like, I don't know how this is gonna work, because like at a certain, I was like, please let this be good, because I know people didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I was like, that you can't do old Indiana Jones. I just don't feel like you could do it. Like from what little I've seen with like the first one that I watched, like I don't know if that would even work.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you know what I just thought of? It's just like, because I recently saw The Flash, right? And in The Flash,
Did you forget about his crimes?
what are you talking about? What crimes?
Okay, good. I've heard the movie's so good you'll forget about all of his crimes.
I don't
That's
know.
good to know.
I don't know what crimes you're referring to. But in the movie, because you know they bring back Michael Keaton as Batman, right?
Oh my god,
And,
yes.
And Michael Keaton is just like old among old. Like even in the trailers, it's like people are making jokes like it's like Batman. Flash is also there. The movie, like every Flash trailer is like, I'm Batman. Michael Keaton's in this, and then Michael Keaton's in it. But like also like anytime Batman's doing actiony things, you could tell it's just a very CGI Michael Keaton. He's not doing any of these things. Like
it's really disappointing, because one thing that I feel like is going on in the industry right now, especially for action movies, it's that the older, like the main 80s, 90s, even early 2000 big action stars have either are being used solely for their name, not giving space to any new acting, like any new people that can star in action movies.
Yeah.
Or it's those people that, you know, starred in those action movies have become so rich and so afraid of leaving the spotlight that they're making their own action movies to be the main character, you know?
Yeah, to some extent, yeah. I mean, I would disagree for the sake of like, because I think Tom Cruise started the Mission Impossible series and he just loves doing stunts, and I think and like they're just like, all those things are like good things, and I feel like if Mission Impossible did a switch up like a James Bond, it's like the star power is what brings them, but also it's not like made off of star power. You know what I mean? Like there's like they actually put a lot of work into like making the movies good. It's like, oh, we're just gonna put this dude in, and then like it'll be good because of that. Really quick, did you notice that the that the FUBAR poster is just the Free Guy poster but with Arnold on it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's just
It really is, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
They're just the exact same poster of like two movies with like, okay, Free Guy was good, and Free Guy's an example of like an action movie that's just like, it's like a good. Ryan Reynolds is young, and he's a young star, and he's younger. He's on the younger side. How old is he actually?
I think he's like 50.
Is he
I'll be
actually?
honest.
46.
46. Not 50 yet.
Okay, but he's like substantially younger than everybody else. So like I'm like, and that was also just a fun, good movie that I enjoyed. And it's like those two, I don't know, that just made me laugh. Like this does not have the same vibe of Free Guy at all, and it's just
really
like.
Doesn't. But I feel like that's also funny because it just shows like how little actual effort was put into the show.
It was really just like a bunch of like first draft ideas, and like God, there was so many times there was like the dialogue was just like really hard to listen to, or like every other line Arnold was like, "You're my daughter, you're my daughter. I'm not gonna let you do the CIA thing," and then every other line like Barry was like, "Oh my God," just like Batman said in issue 16 of the Dark Knight Rises comic. Something.
I feel like he is the embodiment of that guy that's just like, that's a JoJo's reference.
Yeah, it's a JoJo's. That's exactly what that is. He's just the that's a JoJo's reference guy, but as a whole character. And like, I liked Barry, but also shut up. After 8 episodes, shut up. Like it was so.
Yeah.
Then,
you know what really pissed me off during the whole Boro thing?
What?
Like, at the end of the final fight, where like Arnold closes the latch on Boro, I was just like, man, he's gonna survive a nuke. That's just what's gonna happen.
I was like, there's no way this man survives a nuke, and then he does it. And he just comes back with a tiny little face. I'm like, what's happening? And then you just kill him off later? Why didn't you just kill him earlier?
It could have been like they could have definitely milked it to be a really good emotional moment.
It really was. That was like the only parts where I cared, where he was on screen. He was like, "You were like a dad to me." It's like, I give a shit about this. I care about this.
And like the friggin' Bruner, him seeing Boro as like the little kid for a second, I was like,
yeah, that was good.
Are they gonna have like an actual emotion in this series?
Yeah.
And then Close the Latch comes back at the wedding like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he should have been vaporized.
Yeah. And also they should have too. Running 20 feet from an exploding nuke is not gonna save you. Like,
I feel like weren't they in some sort of bunker?
They were in a bunker. But is it wrong for me to feel like the nuke would have like still blown through the ground?
No, it should definitely have done more damage than it did, because it didn't even give like an earthquake-esque kind of thing. It was just like, guys, we closed the hatch. The nuke is gone.
The nuke is secure.
But can I just say, you know what?
Yeah.
It actually does kind of make sense.
Oh.
It probably was just like a really shitty nuke.
You know what? You know what's fair? Because you know what's really funny? You know what? Like okay, a lot of this shit with Boro was really good. But what made me laugh is when he was like, "Do you think Steve Jobs got to where he was because he was the best at what he did?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "No, Steve Jobs got to where he was because he made sure no one else could do what he could do." And he's like, I have to make sure that nobody else can make a suitcase nuke like me, so I'm gonna kill you because you're the other person who can make suitcase nukes.
You know what the worst part about that? Bro, the worst part was, like, he had no reason to kill him. He could have also just been like, nah, I'm gonna keep you around. Because Boro himself didn't know how to make the suitcase nukes.
Yeah.
He kidnapped the guy to do that.
Yeah. And
why kill him?
Also, the other guy
is now 17.
Also, he killed him like he wanted to make suitcase nukes. He was clearly trying to leave. Like, he wasn't just gonna go home and mass produce suitcase nukes. Okay. And all this to say that just like Fubar is the same as a lot of these other like Indiana Jones 5 type deals where it's just like they're clearly casting this person purely for star power alone and just trying to make an action. They try to get it instead of making a competent like good thing. They're like, we're just gonna cast this famous dude who's old and has been in a lot of action stuff, and we're just gonna have a successful action franchise off of this. And apparently somehow Fubar's getting a second season. I don't know how, and somehow this shit works. It's like, just, how about, please, just, I don't know, it might not change, but like with Tom Holland and some other people, like, who's another one that's, maybe Robert Pattinson, I don't know.
Yeah, if you put the effort that was put into, you know, the original Indiana Jones, the original, like, for example, the Terminator movies, you know, where Arnold was still in his prime, if they were to put that effort into a movie again,
yeah,
they could make this generation's Terminator. They could make this generation's Sylvester Stallone,
no, for sure,
Rocky. But instead, they're going for these either sequel-ridden, cash grab, random shows that only people that are like, I remember this character. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know what about you. I would have probably not cared about Fubar if Arnold wasn't in it.
Dude, I didn't care about Fubar and Arnold was in it. I only watched this show because we were talking about it, and halfway through I was like, Arnold, I respect you. However, if I wasn't doing this for a video, I would have shut this shit off like at episode 2. Like,
no, definitely.
And it's like, also they lean really hard into a lot of the Arnold-isms. Like, they have him say chopper like so many times.
The moment that he was like, guys, there's a chopper.
Yeah. The moment where he's talking, it's like, it was really bad of me to like be a bad parent to you. Like, what did they call that? Chopper parent? And I'm like,
shut up.
What? Nobody. It's obviously helicopter parent. Like,
really wish that they put some more effort into creating what they're creating.
Yeah, because like,
it doesn't even have to be like crazy original. It can still be like the random guy or girl that, you know, either is a super spy or is like, an archaeologist was Indiana Jones was supposed to just be an archaeologist, you know? If they even were to do a simple plot like that and execute it well and not just fall back on, this is a famous face, look at this famous face.
Yeah.
They could make something really beautiful, and it's so sad to see.
Action stars that we're gonna remember, if they keep, I can like think of maybe 2. I can think of Tom Holland, and I can think of Michael B. Jordan, and that's about it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's about all I can name off the top of my head.
Like,
as well. You know what scares me the most?
Oh, Jason Statham. That's another one. But go on.
Oh, very true. It scares me how like the CGI is catching up to looking as realistic as it does, like looking almost like reality. I am afraid that some Hollywood studio is going to buy the rights to have a person like this in a movie, and they're just going to CGI an entire movie where like Arnold is the main character again.
Bro, I that is a very realistic possibility. However, I genuinely don't think anybody would go watch that movie.
For example, if right now they would bring out a 6th Indiana Jones movie, and they would, you know, have the full CGI Indy, I 100% my dad would go watch it.
Yeah, it's just like, I just want good action movies. I just want good action movies. And like, I like the MCU and I like superhero stuff, but every now and then I want a non-superhero themed action. So, and we have like your Chris Evans, but Chris Evans is like Captain America and he's not really doing other action stuff. Like, it's like, there's not really a dude. I mean, Hemsworth has Extraction, so there's a couple, but like, we haven't gotten this generation's Terminator. Like, the closest we'll probably have gotten is like Avatar. That's probably the closest I would say.
But even, I'm gonna be honest, even Avatar, that's not.
It's not.
It's just not.
It's just not, exactly. Unless you have anything more to say, I got no more notes. Like,
I have about like 3 hours more of a rant about the new Indiana Jones movie, but I think I'll spare the audience.
Yeah, I think we're good.
And you
Yeah.
for that one. I don't think you need to hear that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's just like it. Also, yeah. So I don't know if you like.
Cast someone who isn't 50.
Yeah,
goddammit.
please. That's all we're saying. Cast someone who isn't 50.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Really not.
But yeah, if you like this stuff, we're gonna do more of this stuff. We have other stuff on the channel. Do all the YouTube things, and make good action movies.
Exactly. And for the viewers, if you know any other great examples of these people that are just way too old for the movies that they're in, please put that in the comments below, because
Please.
I definitely want to watch more of that and get pissed about it.
Yeah.
Please.
Also, give me some good ones. Give me some. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But
Yeah.
and like you said, if you enjoyed, do all the YouTube things and subscribing. If you didn't, then don't do any of those things and go away. But cast good action stars and end the video.